The main event of WWE Crown Jewel has been revealed. A former WWE star is in talks with multiple companies, and there was a huge return on last night's SmackDown. Stay tuned for the news. Now, it was confirmed just yesterday on social media that the main event of Crown Jewel will be a match that many people really want to see, because it's kind of the man that's in it has now reached the top.
Yeah.
It's LA Knight. Yeah, he's going to be in the main event of Crown Jewel. It's the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Him versus Roman Reigns, a clash of the Titans. I cannot wait for this.
We've been asking for this match, demanding this match for months now.
I think Ross has been demanding it for years at this point.
I think that, this is hopefully going to be an excellent showing. I think that LA Knight's going to beat Roman? I would love to see it, but no. Roman is a sneaky tribal chief, and I feel like he's going to somehow manage to retain, even via Healy sneaky means.
Summon a new Uso from somewhere.
Just out of the ether.
Yeah,
he just stands there like he's trying to go Super Saiyan, and one just
will be
snaps
formed.
into existence.
But yes, this match was confirmed. Obviously, last week we saw LA Knight and Roman come face to face. John Cena doing the whole, I know someone who's a challenger, that it's not me, someone else. And then LA Knight came out, and there's that fantastic photo of LA Knight with the mirrored sunglasses on and Roman standing in them. This feels like a big deal. It does feel like they're finally going, okay, look, we know you wanted LA Knight back at Money in the Bank.
Yep.
It didn't happen, but this is the what we've been working towards.
Yeah, we've kind of said it. We've heard it many times now from Triple H, where it's like, we know you love LA Knight. Just trust the process. Just wait a little bit. Just hold on. We know that you really want to see him, in a bigger position. So I think, you're right. This feels like it's finally the company sort of giving him that big badge that says, he's in the big leagues.
Especially the fact it's the main event.
Yeah,
like getting to main event a pay-per-view, not only just a pay-per-view, because you could main event any pay-per-view, right? But in the main event spot against Roman Reigns. Now, Roman has only defended his title 4 times this year.
Yeah.
One of them, the 5th time, is going to be LA Knight. I doubt we're getting another one before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where it might go down as an asterisk against Roman's monolithic reign, is that the defenses haven't been quite...
It's been 29 in 3 years.
And I think that, in front of that audience as well, it's hopefully going to be an incredible response for LA Knight, especially, because this is sort of the crowning moment, isn't it?
It's the crowning moment where he'll not get crowned because he won't win.
It's sort of
belt.
like, it's not as bad as Luger winning via count out and celebrating, though.
I hope that doesn't happen this time. I don't think he's going to win the belt, but a belt that I do think he will win at some point soon is the United States Championship.
Yeah.
Now, the United States Championship has also been added to Crown Jewel. It was made official on last night's SmackDown. Rey Mysterio will defend his United States Championship against Logan Paul. Now, Logan threw out the challenge last week in the
he called him out, didn't he?
Boxing, quote-unquote boxing match, am I right? And then he was like, I'm going to see Rey Mysterio on SmackDown. They're on SmackDown. They have the little face-to-face. Rey Mysterio accepts the challenge. Who do you think's winning at Crown Jewel?
See, I think it might be Logan Paul.
I
think it's going to be Logan Paul. And first off, how good was Rey's mask last night?
It looked so good.
Just amazing.
It's like Batman, but cool.
But look at Logan Paul, right? Logan Paul's been in several prominent positions already. He's faced Roman. We've had quite a lot of big featured moments for Logan Paul. The guy is a celebrity of a magnitude that WWE hasn't worked with for a very long time. Other than Bad Bunny,
of course, yeah.
But it's one of those things where he lives such a social life, he lives such an active life online, that anywhere he goes with that belt, millions of people are going to see it. So I think that it makes sense. It's the US title, so the old hats like me when I'm sat there in my cornet phase waving at Cloud. It's sort of, I think it's not quite as bad, quote unquote, to give him the US title than it would be to have him be ultimate champion. But I think that it's a massive kind of stamp of approval from the company. He's somebody who's come in and he's proved that he's not just your standard celebrity. It's like Bad Bunny, right? They want to actively be there, they want to be competing, they want to be doing these things, and he's proven everybody wrong, including me. The first time I heard about it, I was like, and now I'm like, give him the US title,
and then that can set up Logan Paul versus versus LA Knight for the US title going into Mania season, because that match is money. But we're speaking of another former US champion, Matt Riddle, just now. He's reportedly in talks with numerous companies following his release from WWE, according to the Wrestling Observer. The report states that his people have already been in talks with a number of pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing companies regarding working there. The only two that have come out are the PFL and Bare Knuckle Boxing. Nothing can be announced until December, though, when his non-compete ends. And this is the kicker for Matt Riddle fans, if there are ones out where they're watching. That's not allowed to have that. Also, the non-compete also extends to MMA and boxing, so he won't be seen until at least December 20th in any company going forward.
It makes sense, I guess, in terms of the non-compete extending to that. But when I say it makes sense, I've never been able to make sense of the non-competes outside of the Monday Night Wars style stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really think it's going to harm the company too much if he goes and does some boxing or MMA. But at the same time, he'll be back and he'll be prominent wherever he is, because he's.
We already know there's certain companies have had interest in him. One company that I think would be a good spot is Impact Wrestling.
Oh yeah, I think he'd slot right into Impact. I think he'd be able to do a little bit more than WWE would let him do there creatively. Impact seems to be a lot more free in that regard, and I think that he would just gel well with that. But on the point of Impact, and this is a big one, it's massive. I'm really, really happy for him. It was announced yesterday on Impact social media that after some back and forth shots at each other online, after Henry turned up at What Culture HQ and they had a massive Barney and it turned into a full-blown
fight went literal.
Simon Miller is taking on Joe Hendry at Impact Turning Point on October 27th at the Walker Dome in Newcastle. Now, this show's going to air on November 3rd as an Impact Plus special, but it's like
honestly, Impact's the forbidden door.
It is.
It is the forbidden door of Newcastle wrestling.
It is. I think that I love Simon Miller. I hope that Simon decks him, but he's got to be very careful. And I love Joe. So Joe, if you heard me say that, please don't break my legs.
Watch out in that very seat.
Watch out for the ankle lock and watch out for the fall-away slam.
Just
Simon, do us proud.
I am very excited to see that one. Of course, our very own Tom Campbell will be there ring announcing that show at Turning Point next week in Newcastle upon Tyne. But Tom will also be watching Bound for Glory tonight. Impact presents the pay-per-view Bound for Glory, and he will be live streaming on youtube.com/cultaholic/live right here at midnight. I'm sure you can already go and wait in the waiting room.
I believe so. So
go and give him a comment.
It's technically tomorrow for everybody that gets kind of confused on these times. It's midnight tonight. You know the crack.
Midnight.
You know the crack.
Go and show Tom some love and go and support Impact.
Yeah,
love a bit of Impact. But moving to some video game news, because this one has perplexed me a little bit, Sam.
Just a little bit.
Triple H announced on social media on X last night that WWE is launching a brand new version of WWE 2K23. Now, this game came out in March, the start of this year. It's now October.
Yeah.
It's going to be a brand new Bad Bunny edition.
Nice.
Which will give people access to a brand new model of Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny 2023 edition, which comes dressed as he was at Backlash. Gives some My Faction bonuses for folk that like My Faction. And it costs £9.99, and it's not included in the season pass. Not what we wanted. It's not what we want to happen.
I understand it. I imagine Bad Bunny's licensing deal is fairly hefty for things like this, and I imagine that there's going to be a lot of people that do want that model, and I think that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to sit on the fence over it. It may drop in price eventually. It might be one of those ones to sit on if you can't really justify it to yourself right now, but I think a lot of people are going to want it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't get, where do you get off? You're like, it came out in March. What WWE 2K23? What year is it?
It's 2023.
That's right.
It's yep.
The new one will be out soon.
Made me look like a fool. Yes. Stick around for WWE 2K24 news coming up soon. I think it's a smart decision right now to put him in there. Bad Bunny is still the most streamed artist in the world.
I think but I think it's maybe a little steep. But at the same time, when you look across the bow to AEW Fight Forever, that's kind of a similar thing in terms of just standard roster members getting added. It's like 2 at a time for $9.99,
and It's
2 at a time for $9.99.
that should be the catchphrase. There you
Tony.
go. Hire him, Tony. It's DLC. That's what happens. They need to make their money somehow on a sort of live servicey model. I do wonder though if this is WWE's way of testing out roster updates. And being like, let's see if people would buy updated models.
See,
like half a year after the game's
This is the thing. I've said this for FIFA. I've said this for Madden. It's like largely there's very little changes on the year-to-year releases. So it's just like, why don't you just do an updated pack for half the price of the game, where it's the same base game with a couple of fixes, everything else kind of gets switched out. But then the answer is because we can just take that game and charge people full price for it again.
Mr. Krabs, money. That's the reason why they release a new one. But that's some Bad Bunny news.
I remember Horse Armor. That's how old I am.
Horse Armor's great.
And young me is sitting there going, "You try to justify $9.99."
I need the horse armor. Mum. But WWE is planning some major matches, not including Bad Bunny. But according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is planning for either WrestleMania or another big show down the line. Reigns versus Rhodes, fairly self-explanatory. I feel that's WrestleMania main event written all over it. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. That feels like one that should be at this year's WrestleMania. I feel like it will be WrestleMania 40. We've also got Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso.
The Mega
WrestleMania
Usos
40. And finally, Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. That's going to be a good match.
It is. We sat here last week and we worried that maybe you can't have Jade lose straight away. But then you see it so many times with WWE. Somebody comes in and they lose.
You lose.
So it's sort of,
and it's Charlotte. So if it's at WrestleMania or another big show down the line, I do worry that they'll just have Jade lose to Charlotte. I hope that's not the case, because they have been treating Jade like a star.
But a result doesn't necessarily matter. They could have a hell of a match, and that's the thing. Like, you can have a star-making performance without having to win.
That's true.
But at the same time, Jade, just absolutely level up.
I trust in Papa H. He's going to do right by Jade Cargill. But one of the names that was missing on that list of major matches, to me, I would have thought Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. It feels like a dream match many people have wanted since Jade's time in AEW, and Bianca has just returned to WWE on last night's SmackDown. Following Io Sky's win over Charlotte Flair, defending her women's championship, Damage Control beat down Flair in the ring. However, coming to her aid was the returning Bianca Belair. Belair ran out to the ring, helped even the odds, and hit a KOD on Bayley. So she's back. She's been off TV for some time now.
Yep.
I'm excited to see her back, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before we get that Cargill-Bianca button
I think
heads.
so. I was sat watching along, and I was like, yeah, go on, Damage Control, get her, Damage Control, level her.
Yep.
And I was just loving it, and then out comes Bianca to save the day. And I was like, yeah, but at the same time, kind of like, Bianca, aligning with Charlotte, but if we get Jade Charlotte, and we have Bianca in and around this in some way, we can get straight to Bianca Jade, right?
Sam's on the money there. What do you think? What match would you rather see? Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill or Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure you join Tom Campbell tonight for Impact Bound for Glory reactions right here on youtube.com/cultaholic/live. See him then. We'll see you later on.